Hey everyone, welcome back to Tonic Studios. I am going to make a card today using the Wildflower Wonderland stamp and die set for the Stamp Club this month. This is a really pretty set. It's got all kinds of wildflower images and little butterfly and hummingbird, and it's really cute, really pretty. So I think you're going to enjoy this one, and let's just make a card. So here are the stamp and die sets. I'm just going to give you a look at the stamp set this month. It's got this really pretty little butterfly and a hummingbird and this floral frame that we'll be using on a card today. It's also got this little floral cluster down here that you can go ahead and add to a card. So you can see I've used it right here on the front of my card, sort of over a window that I cut out with the dies that go along, and the little hummingbird, really cute. Also, we have the dies. So these will cut out all of your stamped images, and there's also some extra pieces like these little branches and flowers. Now I've used these flowers on this card here. I cut out the oval shape with that oval die. I did a little bit of ink blending and then added those flowers. I just cut them out of white cardstock and put some glitter on them so they shine a little bit. And you can see I've got two really fun, clean and simple cards just with some stamping, coloring, and die cutting. So we're going to make another card today using this floral frame here. I want to put this on the front of a card and make it into a shaker card. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I think the first thing we need to do is add a little bit of ink blending behind this floral frame here so that we get a little bit of color in there. Now I need to know where to start and stop my ink blending so it doesn't go to this outside background. I want that color just to be right in the center here. So I'm going to take a little pencil and just lightly mark some of these borders. So I have a few little marks here now that I can kind of keep my color in, and I know that if I don't go past those marks too much, I won't get much ink on the outside of my floral frame. So I'm going to keep the colors really simple. I'm going to do some ink blending like I did on this card, just some reds and yellows that kind of make it look like a sunset. So for that, I'm using some mustard seed and barn door. And I'm just going to take my yellow first because I like to take my lighter colors first and then add darker colors because it's always easier to add color. It's not as easy to take color away. So if you start with your lighter colors and add in your darker colors, that's always the better way to go. And as I'm ink blending, now this isn't going to take very long, it's just a small space, but as I'm ink blending, I can go ahead and pop my flowers over it just to see how it's looking. I can see I need a little bit more color down here. And I really want to let my color fade out at the top, so it kind of gets that graduated color from darker to lighter into white. So don't need a whole lot of yellow there, but I'm going to add some red on the bottom. And just kind of blending those two colors together, giving it a really pretty sunset kind of feel. All right, I think that looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and stick with that. So I don't need to do anything. Well, hang on, maybe I do. I'm going to make another just really light mark here because I want my sentiment to be stamped on the inside of this frame. So I need to know where to center it. So I just put a little mark there, and we're going to see what sentiment fits. I think I like the keep growing, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp that first before I forget. Otherwise, I tend to put all of my elements on my card and then forget that I didn't stamp my sentiment, and I have all of the foam adhesive on there and everything, and it just doesn't work to get it into my stamp platform after I've put everything on the front. So I'm going to stamp it before we get to that point. So I'm going to take my sentiment, kind of line it up using that little pencil mark just as a guide, and we're going to go ahead and stamp that out. I'm using my, if I can find it, Black Shadow Hybrid ink from Nuvo. The hybrid inks are permanent when you stamp them, so you can use them to color with alcohol markers or watercolors or colored pencils, or just use them to stamp your sentiments, and you know that they're not going to run or bleed because they're permanent. There, so we've got our sentiments. Let's just see what that's going to look like with our floral frame. I think that's really cute. Now, you can go ahead and erase those pencil marks after you've got everything on there if you want to. If you stamp them really lightly and you forget to erase them, I don't think it'll matter. Nobody's going to notice because you've put them on there very lightly. So I'm going to put that off to the side, and I want to add some acetate to the back of this flower here. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and it's really simple to do. Just going to grab some of my Nuvo Liquid Deluxe Glue, and I'm putting some glue all around the edges here, and I'm going to do it mostly on the inside of my frame. All right, once you've got glue on the inside of your frame there, you can just go ahead and stick down your piece of acetate. Make sure it sticks to that glue, and you don't have to worry about it hanging over the edges because I'm going to trim that up. So if you have any of this acetate sheets from your packaging or junk mail or something, you can always use that. I like to keep all of those little pieces and then use them for shaker card windows. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off all of this extra. Make sure that I'm trimming it just a little bit smaller than that frame. And the edges don't have to be perfect by any means, but as long as it's behind this stamped image, you're not going to see the edges and it's going to be perfectly fine. So there's our little window. We're going to have to make that into a shaker card now. And the way you can do that is put some foam adhesive all around. Now you want to make sure that your foam adhesive goes all the way around and connects. You don't want any gaps for any of your confetti or sequins to be falling out of. So I've got some foam strips. If you got some foam adhesive, you can just cut it into tiny strips, and I'm just going to go ahead and add this all the way around my frame. Now, if you take the backing paper off first, you can easily move your foam adhesive around and shape it to your window. So I need just a little bit more to fill in that gap because we don't want any of our pieces falling out of our shaker card. I'm going to get another piece here. And I just want to fit this right here and just make a wall in that gap so that none of our confetti pieces are going to fall out. Now for the rest of this, you can just go ahead and add little squares of foam adhesive or some more of your strips if you've cut them, just to make sure that you've got this whole backside supported and it's popped up on your card. So I'm just adding a few of these little square foam pieces, and once I have those on there, I'm just going to remove the backing paper, and then we're going to put in our shaker bits. All right, so I've got all my foam adhesive on there. I am going to remove that backing paper, and sometimes it's helpful if you use a craft knife or a scissors to kind of help you lift that paper up on your foam adhesive. Now I'm using I am removing the backing paper before I put in my shaker parts. That way, when I I don't have to worry about getting all of this backing paper off afterwards, because sometimes backing paper doesn't like to come off very well, and when you try to take it off, it's going to kind of move your paper around, and I've had all of my shaker pieces fall out before because I've put it in and then tried to take the backing paper off and makes a horrible mess, and then you get all of the glitter and confetti stuck to the foam adhesive and it just doesn't work. So I like to take my backing paper off before I put in my little glitter and sequins and shaker parts. All right, it just makes things a little bit more easier when you're building your shaker card. So now I'm using these little pieces here for my shaker card. I've got some of these triangle confetti pieces, and they've got like a colorful shimmer to them, and I thought that would look really nice with the flowers and the hummingbird that we have. So I'm going to add that in there, and you could just stop there. You don't need to add anything more, but I am going to add a few of these clear sequins just to give a variation of size and make it a little bit more interesting. And since our sentiment is stamped, it's going to be inside our window. I'm not going to fill this completely so that whoever gets it can still read the card. All right, so this last part is the tricky part. It's getting this lined up, and I like to just take my card and pop it on the front. This one's going to be a little bit tricky because I don't know if we're gonna get it centered perfectly, but I'm going to do my best and just stick it down over my frame here. And there is our shaker card. So I got a few little pieces falling out because they didn't quite get stuck in there, but I think it looks pretty good. So you can still read the sentiment when all of the pieces are down on the bottom, but you can also shake it up, and I think that looks really fun and really cute. Now, if you wanted to take some of those stamped images that you've stamped and colored, like a hummingbird or the butterfly, go ahead and pop that on the front. I think I'll put the little butterfly over here on some foam adhesive, and I think that will actually finish the card. I'm going to have this little butterfly come out a little bit over the window so you can notice it's popped up there. So there you have it. There is the Wildflower Wonderland stamp and die set. You can make so many pretty little cards with this. Hopefully that gives you a good look at the stamps and the dies and what you can make with them. So thanks so much for joining us today to make a really fun card with the Wildflower Wonderland. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, tap the bell for notifications so you never miss another video from Tonic Studios. And if you create with Wildflower Wonderland, make sure you tag us if you post it on social media, because we always love to see what you're creating as well. So have a great day, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.